Welcome back to another video. I am in a fantastic mood today because the weather has finally cooled down here in the UK. I think it's like 24 degrees now, so it's still like warm, but it's actually tolerable. Like the last few days, it was just getting way too much for me and I could not cope anymore. The other good news about the temperature dropping is I woke up this morning over half a kilo lighter than I was yesterday morning and almost a full kilo lighter than I was middle of the week. So in the middle of the week, my body weight shot up and it's absolutely because of the heat, and this happens when it's really warm. My body weight, even though I'm in a deficit, so my deficit started at the start of the week, it's now Saturday, deficit started, I think Tuesday technically, because I had some leftovers on Monday that I ate up. Deficit started, the goal this week was to get to like back in the 86s, I was 86.8 today after a massive drop from yesterday. But I was literally like 87.9, I think it was Wednesday, maybe Thursday. It just shot up like almost a full kilo out of nowhere, and it was definitely to do with the heat, but thank God it's come back down. The temperature's dropped. I feel better in myself. I don't feel anywhere near as watery today. And I feel good. And to top it all off, went on a lovely like hour-long dog walk this afternoon, which we haven't been able to do for ages. That was also really nice. I'm already at like 7,000 steps, which is great. Also finally bought a new desk for my office. So I had a standing desk when we first bought the house. Literally that first week, I ordered a standing desk. I got like new monitor and everything so I could have a full proper office setup. And at some point, I'm assuming that so the lead of basically the cord is broken on my old standing desk. And it has been since not long after Zuko was born, not born, since we got Zuko. And I think he chewed through the wire. That's the logical kind of reasoning I came up with because there was basically the wire's broken. So I just haven't used it. I haven't had it plugged in for so long. And I was like, right, you need to find a way to change your lifestyle. Essentially, you need to get more steps in. And, you know, I work a lot of hours throughout the week. It's not feasible for me to be on my feet all day. My standing desk was broken. I've got a walking pad that I was considering selling because I didn't really use it. And I sat there about a week ago and I was like, right, just order a new desk firstly, because your back's been getting worse, your hamstring issue. It's been feeling a little bit questionable since I added in some more lower accessories this session last week, but that's just adapting to the new work. I don't think that's actually anything to be concerned about. But like, in order to stay healthier, I need to be on my feet more, not sat at my desk. I've also so basically I had a moment the other day where I was like, just order a new desk. And I also ordered a bigger desk. I've got 2 monitors at the moment on my desk, and the desk I had previously, they didn't quite fit. So they were always at a bit of an angle. Whereas now I've got a larger desk, which has room for my notepad, room for my diary, plenty more room. It fits better in the office. We built it last night. And yeah, I can actually use my walking pad again, basically. Change my lifestyle, get my overall movement up. Going to start using my walking pad more when I'm actually working. Not necessarily for stuff I have to super concentrate on. Like when I'm programming, I can't walk at the same time because if I'm trying to like flip between old pages, new pages, kind of think and concentrate, can't do the two at once unless I'm literally walking at a snail's pace, which then just frustrates me because I'm not very good at taking things slowly. But when I'm making content and that sort of thing, editing videos, making client seminars and stuff and putting them together, I can be doing my steps. That's fine. So I'm going to start using that this week. And I'm really excited to do that basically. And also going to actually order some furniture and get my office looking like an actual decorated room. Literally none of the rooms in our house are decorated still. Literally none. So going to actually get on top of getting that all sorted. I've got room next to my desk for like an actual like storage unit as well, which will be really nice to have. So I can actually start storing stuff in there and like, again, not just having stuff laying about all over the place. And I'm looking forward to it. We should also hopefully be getting our kitchen done this year, which means we can also get the flooring throughout the whole house done. And I think as soon as those 2 things are done, it's just going to feel so much nicer being at home. Like I can't live in mess. And because of the way our house is at the moment, and there's so much stuff, like big stuff we need to do, it just permanently feels messy even when it's clean. So I'm excited for some projects and stuff to go, but also I'm excited to get my office organised. I can hear Zuko barking indoors. Yeah, I'm excited for that. Anyway, I'm feeling really good. Hamstring issue I have noticed today in particular hasn't felt incredible. It's nowhere near as bad as it was. Like the pain is probably like a 2 out of 10, but I'm feeling it the entire way down the hamstring, which I haven't had for like since pre-comp, I think. So minorly concerned, but gonna just get the session done today, see how it goes. Today I've got squats. I've got a top set of 4 at 170. And then I've got 3x6 at, I think either 152 or 155. I'm gonna see how I feel and go from there. I've written 152, but I kind of want to start pushing that volume up a bit heavier. So if I feel really good, I'll probably go 155, but we'll kind of see. Want to get back to doing my rep sets around the 160 plus range on that final week of the block. So this is the final week of the first like 3-week block, well, second 3-week block technically. But the like, if you want to call it like a macro, 6-week macro, we have first 3 weeks, second 3 weeks. This is the end of that first 3 weeks of that longer 6 weeks. So that was a lot of ramble. Essentially, the end of my next 3-week block, I would like my 3x6 to be around 160 and it not be like total max effort. Obviously, it's going to suck and it's going to feel like work, but that's what those back off sets are for. The goal at the moment is more to push the back off rep work than it is to worry too much about pushing the top sets. The top sets are just kind of ticking by certain level of load, certain level of intensity, just to keep me primed and keep me kind of strong. But it's those back off sets that I'm really building that strength on. So would like to get those back to 160-ish range. So if I can do 155 today, I'll be very, very happy. Feeling fueled, it's literally like 4:45, so I've had plenty of food today. I don't know what the dog is doing indoors, but my boyfriend's in there with him and I can just hear stuff like clanging indoors. So that's not my problem, but also funny. But yeah, so I'm feeling good and I'm looking forward to this session now the temperature's dropped. I've got pause sumo deadlift single. Not sure what the load's going to be yet. Last week I did 162.5, but I suffered with my grip. I forgot to order any more chalk because the chalk I'm using is terrible, so probably going to regret that. And then I've got some more rep work after, which I'll just show you guys what I end up doing. I think that's all my updates though. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really locked in with my nutrition. It's nice to just be kind of back on the ball with that, having kind of a goal with it as well. I'm feeling good, and I think weight's going to start dropping really quickly now that the weather's cooled down a little bit as well, and it's supposed to stay around here now. It's not supposed to get super warm again, I don't think. And obviously getting my steps up again as well, because there's some days this week I literally on like 5,000 steps just because it was so hot that I couldn't really walk the dog properly, apart from like tiny little walk first thing in the morning. And then some evenings it was literally like 27, 28 in the evening, and I was like, I'm not walking you in this because it's just not good for you. Also, it's not good for me. Like, I can't handle the heat. So that's also why I was really excited to get the walking pad back in use, because then on days if it is really warm and I can't walk the dog, I can still get a walk in and stuff. So anyway, let's stop talking and train.
People are nice, but it's only for the tips. The weather's fine, but it's nothing I would miss. My only friends are the ones I left behind. Wish I could see them just for a moment, 'cause I don't know anybody here, it's awfully lonely. I smile, but they just stare, and I see misery everywhere, it's getting to me. I cry, but they don't care. Oh, I'm getting lost in the commotion, and the sound is way too loud. 'Cause I'm not the city girl I thought I was. This town is bigger than the ocean, yet too small to fit the crowd. 'Cause I'm not the city girl I thought I was. No, I'm not a city girl. No. Oh, I'm getting lost in the commotion, and there's nowhere I can hide. 'Cause I'm not a city girl. Keep to yourself, and I promise you'll be fine. That's what my mom said when I was moving out. If you need a hand, they will take two in return. Wish I could see her, I need a shoulder. 'Cause I don't know anybody here, it's awfully lonely. I smile, but they just stare.
Quickly, 170 for 4, not great, wasn't super happy with it, but there are positives. So basically, I didn't have my headband on, and that's the first time I've squatted with my fringe down in like a month, probably, if not longer, because of the heat here. But today, because it wasn't that hot, I kept my hair down. Literally felt so off balance. So off balance. The second rep was awful. So after the second rep, I laughed because I was like, this isn't heavy, this isn't difficult. You're just not balanced properly. So I literally blew my hair out of my face. The last few reps definitely felt easier than the second, but obviously the entire set was harder because of that second rep. But I felt strong going into it, so I wasn't worried that it wasn't a strong day. It was just a poorly executed set, and if I had to go up after, like if that was in the program, I would have felt confident doing so. So that was a win. Also, that's the first time I've done rep work at 170 in a long time and had 100% confidence. And I know I've done that for 7 before. Like I know I can rep 170, but I think 170 plus for a while, probably for the last year, has been a number that as soon as it gets to that range, I have a lot of pressure on myself to make it move really easily or make it move really well. And like, I had this fear that if something goes wrong, it's going to end badly. And like, I didn't have that at all today. Even when the second rep felt harder than it should, like I was still confident I had the set with room to spare. So that was definitely a big win. What I was extra happy about. So every week, these 3x6 back off sets, I'm always like, this is gonna suck. Like, this is gonna suck. But I know my squat responds really well to that volume, and straight sets are really great for my squat, but also my confidence on squats. So I was like, we're keeping them in the program. Like, they're not going anywhere. I did the top end of 155, and I was like, this is gonna take me ages. I'm gonna have really long rest breaks. I'm gonna be so tired. They're gonna be so difficult. The comfiest those sixes have felt since I added them back in, 6 weeks ago? The comfiest, so like going fast, the comfiest those sixes have felt so far, which makes me super confident that in 3 more weeks, when I ramp up again, 160 will be there for those sixes, which I'm pretty sure will be like close to a matched PB in terms of volume. So I think I've done 3x5 at 165 before, but I'm not sure what my heaviest sixes are. And I can't imagine I've done more than 160 for 3x6 before. So I'm really excited for that. Also, super happy because my squat is literally feeling like a leg press. So I'm quite stacked when I squat anyway. And I think that's why whenever I've had back issues and stuff, my squat hasn't ever really been overly impacted. And I'm pretty good at staying stacked and staying over my legs. But sometimes when I'm getting a bit lazy or if things aren't moving great, it does always put a bit of strain on my back and whatever. But today, I truly felt like I was just leg pressing, which is like perfect. The movement pattern is exactly as I want it to be, exactly as I need it to be, especially on those sixes, every single set. So I put the first and the last set in the video because I wanted to show the difference. I also wanted to be a reminder that, we're so like, people are so hyper-focused on RPE and not pushing too hard and not overshooting so that then they're not too fatigued for the following week, which is obviously important. But sometimes we just have to work hard. And that's why I love my squat sixes on this day, or like my back off straight sets, because they're not going to be sixes forever. But like, it reminds me how to work hard. I know it's not heavy enough load that it's going to cause loads of residual fatigue for the following sessions and stuff. It's also 1 day a week that I'm really pushing squats. Like my secondary day, my top set's reasonably heavy. But my rep work is high bar and it's light and it's easily recoverable. So having this day where I really push those straight sets, like I know my squat responds really well to it anyway. And it just reminds me what hard work feels like, which is a really nice thing. And I know that my squat is getting back to its best, possibly exceeding it. And it makes me just feel really confident. And I'm really glad I made the decision not to worry too much about like going super heavy on the top sets, like literally until British. I've paced roughly where my top sets should be between here and British. Obviously, if I do decide to do British, which I'm still not 100% sure on, but if I do decide to do British, like I've got the rough map planned out, and we're not looking at PBs on my squat top sets pretty much until maybe a block higher in British, if that. So it's nice, being able to really focus on pushing this rep work and getting stronger in that base. And I know that that's what I'll respond best to. So basically, I'm just feeling really good. I also, funny, a few days ago, I just had this moment where I was like, Sean, you just need to stop and get stronger. Like, you just need to get stronger now. Like, stop overthinking it. Stop hyper-focusing on stuff and just lift and just get stronger and just work harder. And obviously I've been working hard this whole time, but like something clicked the other day where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to load it and I'm just going to do it. And that's exactly the mindset I had before when I had my best progress. And I'm just really trying to force myself to get back into that. Something else I also noticed the other day. So I've been very much, the last 2 weeks, I've actually been at home constantly, like haven't had comp weekends or time away or anything. And I'm 100% feeling the benefits of it. I've also had a couple of weeks with work where I've kept it a little bit quieter on purpose, slightly shorter days, made sure to have an evening most days as well. And I'm massively feeling the benefit of it. So much so that I think it was Thursday. I had a podcast Thursday night and I had a client call, or like a consultation call. And I think I had a one-off nutrition consult as well the same day. I can't remember what I had. Basically, I had like 3 back-to-back calls on Thursday evening. And I remember there was a little bit of time between the podcast and the last call and the podcast line, because the podcast got pushed back. And I sat there and I was like, oh, I really wish this was a training day. Like, I really wish I was training right now. I've not wished to train and been excited to train. And I've not wanted to train on a rest day in years. Like, I've not missed that feeling just from having one singular rest day in years. And that was when I had this moment where I was like, okay, no, you are ticking the boxes to feel recovered again, which I think is why that obviously also felt so good. So I'm really, really happy with that. And it's just a reminder that sometimes if you're not feeling motivated, or if you're not wanting to train, not excited to train, obviously still turn up and do it anyway, because future you will be thankful. But also it's often just a sign that you need to focus on recovery a little bit more, because if you're tired and you're like fatigued, motivation is going to be lower as well. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I'm in a really good mood because squats felt great. Let's hope deadlifts continue. One thing I'm also considering is moving my primary deadlifts to midweek on my Wednesday shorter session, and having my primary deadlifts on Saturdays, because I don't know how much, because of deadlifts are like a big thing that I need to focus on. I don't know how much squats are going to take off of my deadlift as I keep pushing these straight sets. But obviously that's something I'll worry about later on, depending on how I feel. Especially today will be an indicator of that as well. But that's just a thought that I've been having.
I see misery everywhere, it's getting to me. I cry, but they don't care. Oh, I'm getting lost in the commotion, and the sound is way too loud. 'Cause I'm not the city girl I thought I was. This town is bigger than the ocean, yet too small to fit the crowd. 'Cause I'm not the city girl I thought I was. No, I'm not a city girl. No. Oh, I'm getting lost in the commotion, and there's nowhere I can hide. 'Cause I'm not a city girl. Cause I don't know anybody here, it's awfully lonely. I smile, but they just stare. And I see misery everywhere, it's getting to me. I cry, but they don't care. Oh, I'm getting lost in the commotion, and the sound is way too loud. 'Cause I'm not the city girl I thought I was. This town is bigger than the ocean, yet too small to fit the crowd. 'Cause I'm not the city girl I thought I was. No, I'm not a city girl. No. Oh, I'm getting lost in the commotion, and there's nowhere I can hide. 'Cause I'm not a city girl.
Okay, so let's recap how this block has gone. I'm going to start with deadlifts from yesterday. So obviously squats, super happy with, no real other comments there. Deadlifts yesterday. So pause single at 170. When I read that that was the target load for yesterday, obviously I'd written it myself, but I had forgotten how heavy it was meant to be. And after how last week's pause single at 162 felt, I was nervous and I wasn't actually expecting to load it. I decided to just do 70, 120, 140 and just go up in 10 kilos and see how it felt. So when I got to 160 felt good. It felt about the same as the 150. So I was like, let's just go for it. Like, you have to try, you have to push yourself, otherwise you're not going to get better. So I loaded the 170 pause single and it felt so good. Like, it obviously wasn't easy, but it wasn't meant to be. But it felt crisp. It felt solid. My positioning felt super, super good. And I will say, through all of my sets yesterday on sumo, I felt like my slack pull was like refined, which is something I had been struggling with. So sumo feels the best it has. And that is very promising when I've got months to go until British, which, if training continues the way that it has this week, obviously now I'm back self-coach. This is my second 3-week block self-coaching. And I'm feeling good. And I do think a big part of that is the mental recovery. Like, I have been really looking after myself mentally, like outside of, like, I've been making time for myself, you know, and I've felt the benefits of it this week. So I'm going to continue doing that. And it's just a reminder to myself how important that is. But like, deadlifts felt good. Deadlifts felt really good. And the 157 set of 4, it felt sloppy in the moment. But then I had the realization that last block, I literally failed my 155 set of 4. I think I managed to get 2 reps at most, maybe even 1, but my hips were really painful. I just had no power. Bearing in mind, this block I've doubled down on sumo and decided to take out all conventional work, because last block I was still running both. Decided to double down. I've actually taken my stance out slightly, turned my feet out slightly more, and actually my hips have felt great. So I was really happy with 157 for 4. There's definitely still scope to improve on that. My grip wasn't amazing yesterday either. I need to get some better chalk. I actually need to order it tomorrow, so it's actually here for next week and for the rest of the next block. And then I just did my lighter volume after as well. Now, my hamstring issue didn't necessarily feel worse after, but it didn't feel great. By the time I got to the gym, it seized up a little bit more in the car like it did last week. I still managed to do all of my lower accessories, which there's some hinging patterns in there. There's some direct hamstring curls in there. But I just took everything a little bit easier. Now, I will say it's definitely felt a bit worse yesterday evening and today, But it felt worse before I trained yesterday anyway, and I don't know what I did to trigger it. So I don't know that training is necessarily the issue there. So all I'm just going to do this week is use my standing desk more. I've actually already done 11,000, well, more than 11,000 steps now. I've done 11,000 when I started training because I'm using my walking pad more. I'm going to stand at my desk most of the day instead of sit because that will also help it. And I'm just going to basically do what I can outside of the gym to make it feel better in hopes that I don't have to pull that accessory day back. But if I do have to pull my accessories back and take out some of those hinging patterns and stuff for a little bit or reduce them or whatever I need to do, I'll obviously do it because staying healthy is the most important thing. I will say, knowing from last block, so I did like an introductory 3-week block back to self-coaching, and now I'm in like the main phase of it and I'm pushing things a lot more now. So the first 3 weeks back, I had the same level of deadlift volume minus the paused single. And actually, my hamstring issue got better. So I know that the volume isn't the problem. Obviously, when you then add load to the volume, it could create more issues. But I don't think the volume's the problem. I think it's more reintroducing the accessory movements on top of the volume. So I'm just going to pay close attention, going to do what I can outside of training to keep on top of things, and just go from there. But I'm feeling really confident that squats and deadlifts are in a really good spot. And then bench today. The goal for today was a 112 double. Last week, I think I hit 110, if I remember rightly, and it was hard. Like it didn't visually look hard, but it felt sloppy and it felt difficult. It might have even been 107. I think it was 107.5. Warming up, guys, my technique felt perfect. I did 70, 90, 100. The 100 felt so solid. I was like, I'm going straight to 110. The load cap today was meant to be 112. But as I said, I've decided that I'm just going to get stronger now. So my matched PB of 115, I loaded. I hit 115 for a double at the start of the year when I was being coached by Lewis after British, when my body weight was 90 kilograms, probably over 90 at that point, because that was possibly even the last week of last year. Like I was basically 90 kilos. I was over 3 kilos heavier than I currently am when I benched 115 for a double. And that 115 for a double wasn't paused and my butt was up and it wasn't pretty. Today, granted I'm wearing baggy shorts, but I'm fairly confident my butt stayed down because that's not something I've been struggling with recently. And they felt comfortable. They were slightly paused. The second rep wasn't max effort. There was room to spare. I'm so over the moon with how that moved. And I'm just feeling really, really good about all 3 lifts right now, which is so rare. And then at 100 for a set of 5, that was a set load and that was super breezy. And then just 3x5 lighter sets at 90 that I didn't film. But guys, if I can continue this momentum, this mindset, keeping this headspace between now and December, I think I will be able to be that unrecognizable lifter, bring that total that I've been like waiting for to the platform, which is incredibly exciting. Like I'm feeling in a really good spot. So the only other thing I probably should mention is that my pec still isn't feeling amazing. So I mentioned in one of last week's videos that my pec was feeling a little bit iffy, like not even necessarily in my pec, it kind of goes into the armpit slightly, like there's a bit of a strain there. I noticed it towards the end of bench, but I didn't really notice it during bench. But I could feel it during the day today. I could feel it during the day the last few days. It's kind of been constantly there. And obviously I don't want to risk having a pec injury because I've not had one before and I would not like to add that to the list. So what I think I'm going to do is take my pressing accessory, well, my dumbbell chest press accessory out today. I've not got any flies or anything in there, so that's fine. And just essentially pull back on accessories a little bit for maybe whether it has to be the full next block, full next 3 block, or just a week, whatever, if it's just today, and just let that heal. And go from there. But it doesn't, like, I don't think it gets worse when I'm benching. I think maybe the last set today was like a little bit too much volume for it to handle, but just going to be careful and go from there. But, you know, we're heading in the right direction. Like, we really are. I have no doubt I could have easily benched 120 today, if not more, for a PB. Like 120 is my PB, but I think there was probably more there today, which is a crazy thing to say. Unracking the 115 felt so comfortable. Like I've definitely got my setup and everything perfect for me now. Like I just have to keep replicating it. So I'm really glad I went up to 4 days a week benching again. And I just, this is definitely like a mental thing for me. I think like the mindset and like just the mental recovery I've been focusing on. So we're in a really good spot. I'm going to wrap the video up here. Thank you very much if you made it to the end. I really appreciate it. Please be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in a few days for the next one.